average year, the American public pours millions of dollars in coins into the cash boxes of commercial phonographs. The commercial music business is a big retail business. As a Wurlitzer factory-approved music merchant, you are a retail merchant. The only difference between you and the retailer who sells soft drinks or cigarettes or beer is that you sell musical entertainment. While his outlet is a store, your outlets are your locations. Now, up until 1946, this huge and important commercial music business differed from all other retail businesses in another respect. From the manufacture of commercial phonographs to the music merchant who operated them, few ever spent 1 cent for advertising to the public, to the people who patronize your locations every week. Yet, every other leader in every other retail business has long recognized and utilized the power of advertising. Let's take Coca-Cola. Everywhere you drive, you see their billboards. Practically every magazine you read contains their ads. And do they stop there? You bet your sweet life they don't. Their product is heavily advertised wherever it is sold, right at the point of purchase. Why? Because, like Wurlitzer music, it is an impulse purchase, bought on the spur of the moment, and reminder advertising at the point of purchase pays off plenty. The same goes for other soft drinks, tobacco, beer, ale, and gum. Wise people have learned that it pays to advertise, and they have learned something else too, that you, as a Wurlitzer factory-approved music merchant, can well profit by. The power of advertising must not stop short of the point of purchase. Look around your locations, at the signs, at the calendars, at the displays. National advertising is a softener-upper, but the final punch comes here, where food and refreshments are sold. It's that punch that persuades the patron to reach in his pocket for a coin, to have himself a Coke or a beer, or some music on the phonograph. It's that punch that puts money in the cash box, and that's where you come in, if you're on your toes, and if you're awake to the power of advertising. Wurlitzer is awake to it. Now we're going to have a little fun. We're going to show you a few trademarks of well-known products. As they appear on the screen, call out the product they represent. Holler it out good and loud. For example, this is the trademark of what? What's this stand for? And what's this? Whose trademark is this? Come on, yell them out. What does this stand for? Good, good. Now, whose slogan is this? And whose is this? Good. You've just proved by yourselves to yourselves the power of advertising. If it weren't for advertising, you wouldn't recognize or recall a single one of those trademarks or slogans. And that's the big point of Wurlitzer's national campaign, to make Wurlitzer's sign of the musical note just as familiar to millions of Americans as these trademarks were to you. When we have national recognition of this sign, we'll have stepped up your returns from every phonograph, and that's for sure. Now, how do we win that national recognition? In the first place, every Wurlitzer billboard displays the sign of the musical note. In the second place, every Wurlitzer national magazine ad displays the sign of the musical note, and in every ad, millions of readers see the line that says, "The sign of the musical note identifies places where you can have fun playing a Wurlitzer." Do you get the point? This advertising is not advertising the Wurlitzer company. It is not advertising the Model 1015 or the Model 1080 or any particular Wurlitzer phonograph. This advertising is plugging Wurlitzer music as musical fun for everyone, and it's plugging Wurlitzer locations, your locations, as the places to have that fun. It's for your benefit as a Wurlitzer music merchant that Wurlitzer's aim is to so well impress everybody everywhere that this will happen all over America.
I'm tired of sitting around here, David. Let's go out and have some fun.
Okay. Got any place in mind?
Oh, there's a little tavern around the corner. The Browns across the street go there quite often. Their sandwiches are good, and they have a Wurlitzer jukebox, too.
Swell. Just saw an ad for Wurlitzer music in this magazine. Kind of gave me the urge to hear some.
Okay, let's go.
They go out and have themselves a good time. And while enjoying themselves, they spend coin after coin for Wurlitzer music, which all adds up to increased profits for you. Let's take another example of the results Wurlitzer advertising aims to accomplish.
Hello, Marion. Say, it's going to be late before I get home. Why don't we eat out somewhere?
All right, dear. Let's make it somewhere near home, though. But just a minute, I think Junior has a suggestion.
Ask Dad if we can't eat over here at the Strand. The kids say they've got some swell new records on the Wurlitzer.
Did you hear that request?
Yes, I did. It sounded all right by me. I like some music and film myself. Goodbye.
Swell!
Now, when these people and countless others in your community, the kind of people you want coming to your locations, have been sold on going where there's Wurlitzer music, they have also been sold at the same time and by the same billboards and ads on looking for the sign of the musical note to identify the place that has Wurlitzer music. What have you done about that? How many of your Wurlitzer locations are identified with and tied into this advertising? What have you and your collectors and servicemen done to get the sign of the musical note on every Wurlitzer location door, window, and back bar on your route? These decals will do you no good riding around in the backs of your cars. They'll only collect dust in your shop when they could be collecting coins in your locations. And even if you try to get them up in locations, you'll never succeed if you go at it in a half-baked way like this.
Hiya, Joe. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Joe, you wouldn't let me put this up on your window or door, would you?
What the heck is it?
It's Wurlitzer's sign of the musical note.
Sign of what?
It hooks your place in with Wurlitzer's national advertising.
Skip it, pal. Run along. Nobody's hooking me into nothing, do you understand?
But, Joe, this'll do you good.
How much is there in it for me?
Well, I can't pay anything, Joe, but you make more out of the Wurlitzer.
How's that little squirt gonna make more letters for me?
I'm trying to tell you, Joe.
Don't bother. Can't you see I'm busy?
But, Joe, you haven't given me one good reason for not putting this sign of the musical note on your window or door.
I ain't? Well, I'll give you one now. It'd shut off me view of the girls going by. Now scram.
No, sir, Mr. Music Merchant. The way to get up the sign of the musical note is not that way. You'll be far more successful if you approach it like this.
Hiya, Mac. How you feeling?
Okay, Bill. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Say, Mac, how'd you like to make some extra dough?
Well, now wait till I feel in my pocket and see if there's room for any more. Yeah, I believe there is. What you got in mind, Bill?
Well, Mac, Wurlitzer's spending over $1.5 million in national advertising this year. Big color ads in 8 big-time magazines like this. 18,000 billboards all over the country. Many of them right here in this community. Every ad pictures the sign of the musical note. And in every one, a pile of people living right around here will read this. The sign of the musical note identifies places where you can have fun playing a Wurlitzer. Now, Mac, all you got to let me do is put the sign of the musical note in your window or door, and all this advertising becomes your advertising, attracting people in this community to your place. And while they're here, they'll spend more for everything you've got to sell. And they'll put more money in the Wurlitzer, all without any cost to you.
Well, Bill, I'll tell you. Maybe you got something there. But listen, if I let you put your sign on my door, everybody and his brother's going to want their signs up in here, too. Beer, whiskey, cigarettes. Why, the place will look like a dump. I don't want it that way, you understand?
That's the bunk, Mac. Why, look, you sell 20 brands of whiskey, 3 or 4 brands of beer. Now, what you do for one, you probably got to do for all. So keep them all out. But you only sell one brand of music, Wurlitzer. Why, it's the only form of entertainment you got. You can push it, make yourself some money, and still keep your place free from any clutter of advertising. Why, look, Mac. This sign in your door or window, why, don't take up much space.
All right, Bill, put it up.
Fine. And you know, Mac, one in your back bar will do you just as much good. We'll remind everyone at the bar that you have Wurlitzer music.
Now, wait a minute, Bill. I told you I don't want this place all junked up with signs. That back bar cost me a lot of iron, man.
Why, sure it did. And this little sign here will help pay for it by increasing the take in that phonograph.
Well, maybe you're right.
Fine.
Now let's watch Bill and see how easy it is to put the sign of the musical note on the inside of any location door or window. 1. Soak in water for 10 seconds. 2. Apply to clean, wet glass. 3. Work out air bubbles with squeegee or damp cloth. 4. Wash off back of transfer to remove all the glue. That's all there is to it. All done in half a minute. Same goes when you put it on a back bar mirror, except you slide the paper back from under the decal, which adheres to glass in this case. Full directions are on the back of every transfer. Never forget this point. The main purpose of the sign of the musical note is its use on the doors and windows of your locations to peg them as places where people can enjoy Wurlitzer music. Every sign so placed will act as a magnet to draw people into that spot. The second purpose of the sign of the musical note is its use on location back bars to remind people already in your locations to play the phonograph. But when it comes to this reminder or point of purchase advertising inside your locations, Wurlitzer does not stop with the sign of the musical note. Let's go back to our typical tavern where Mr. Music Merchant and Mac are admiring the sign of the musical note just put up on the back bar.
It's all right, Bill. That one and the one on the door ought to pay off plenty.
Now, one thing more, Mac. Oh, now, hold your temper. Hold your temper. Well, you say this.
Say, that's pretty fancy. What is it?
A permanent frame to go on your wall, Mac. Well made and mighty good looking. Has the sign of the musical note here and the slogan, musical fun for everyone. Holds a beautiful full-color card. And every once in a while I'll come around, take the card out, slip in a different one. Just as much an eye-stopper and play promoter as this one. This is no cheap junk like you said you didn't want in here, Mac. This is class. How about it?
Well, like you say, Bill, that really is nice. I'd go for it, but I don't want a lot of holes in my wall.
Oh, doesn't make a lot of holes, Mac. Uses just one picture hook. Makes one little pinhole, that's all.
Where would you put it?
Well, now, let's see. 50% of the people seated in here face the Wurlitzer. That advertises itself. I put this framed card where the people who can't see the Wurlitzer can see it, right?
Makes sense to me. Say, Bill, I think I have just the spot for it in the other room. Come in here and take a look, will you?
Yeah, sure, let's go.
How about right over there, Bill?
Oh, swell. Just take me a second to put it up. You're going to like this, Mike. Going to make more money for you.
It's fine, Bill. I think that's just the spot for it, don't you?
I sure do.
These handsome permanent wall frames will be supplied by Wurlitzer to you as a Wurlitzer factory-approved music merchant without cost. So will the series of beautiful play-stimulating cards that go into them. Here's reminder advertising in your locations that will really pay off. But wait a minute. Bill has a few more surprises for Mac, just like you'll have for your location owners.
Thanks a lot, Bill. No operator ever come in here with any ideas like that before.
You bet they didn't, Mac. And this is only the beginning. I'm going to put one of these musical no flasher signs in your back bar. You got an outlet handy?
There's one right there. Plug it in, Bill.
Oh, yeah. Well, isn't that a honey? Every patron in here is going to see that and be reminded that you have Wurlitzer music.
I go for that, Bill. Let her stay right where she is.
Good. Now, here's some musical note mixer sticks. You could use those, couldn't you?
Say, what is this, Christmas?
You'll think it's Christmas when you see the old cash box after these get to work for you. And here's some sign of the musical note beer coasters. They'll help stimulate play on the phonograph. So these table tents and cards. Can I have a couple old glasses, Max?
Sure.
Please. Where do I get these up? They're colorful. They're eye-catching. They'll tease the coins right out of your patron's pockets that'll wind right up in yours.
This is really something, Bill. I've never seen so much stuff in my life. Why, you've got me punchy.
I'm not through yet, Mac. You use menus, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, here's two types. A single sheet and a folder. Now, you can put your own mimeograph sheet in either one. Nice-looking jobs, and they plug Wurlitzer music, too, see?
Say, I kind of go for that, Bill. Got a lot of class.
Yes, they have, Mac, and you can have a supply of them.
Thanks.
Now, one thing more. You advertise in the local papers, don't you?
Yeah?
Well, I got some mighty good newspaper mats for you. Here's what the proofs of them look like. You see, they tie your place in the big names in the entertainment business. And they have space for you to put in your own food or drink specials. You like them?
Wonderful. And brother, I can use them.
Now look, Mac. All this stuff is yours for free. Why? Because we know it will increase the take in this phonograph, and you get a part of it. Now keep them in use every day. And what's going to happen? Let's say a couple guys and their girls come in and sit down. Sure, you got Wurlitzer music, but do they know it? Maybe they can't see the phonograph from where they sit. Maybe they see it, but get to gabbing and forget it. Maybe they play it once and don't get around to playing it again. Well, that's the deal in this reminder advertising. It keeps the fact that you got Wurlitzer music for their pleasure in front of them all the time in a dozen different ways. Chances are, as they look around, they'll see either your musical note flasher sign or the wall sign. There's a table tent on the table to remind them to play the phonograph. Well, the waitress appears. She hands them a menu. Wurlitzer music gets plenty of mention on that. The boys order a beer apiece. And Susie and Dolores there, they'll have a highball. Okay. Comes with a beer, musical note coasters. Comes with the highballs, musical note mixer sticks. You get the idea, Mac? With all this point of purchase material working in here for you, your customers can't forget the fact that you got Wurlitzer music. The more they're reminded of it, the more they'll play it. What's the net result? More dough for you and for me.
That is the power of point-of-purchase advertising, to carry through the job started by national advertising, to clinch the actual sales at the place where the product is for sale, to make more money for you. And now, a word of warning. Profitable use of point-of-purchase advertising is no pushover. 3 steps are involved. First, the advertising itself must be effective. Wurlitzer is putting that kind of material in your hands. It's colorful, powerful. It will work if you work it. That brings us to the second step. It must be used. Table tents, mixer sticks, menus, and coasters left under the bar won't sell any music. Same with signs that aren't put up. flasher signs that don't flash. Every piece must be kept in use, in action, on the job, in front of the patron. Third step, replace every unit whenever it gets dirty, lost, stolen, worn out, or used up. Now, who in your outfit is going to see to it that the material is used and is replaced? In most operations, it's up to the collector. He's the boy who gets around to the locations with regular frequency. He's the boy who knows the owner, knows the bartender, knows the waitresses. And don't think that doesn't help when you need cooperation in getting and keeping point-of-purchase advertising on the door, window, wall, back bar, counter bar, booth, or table. Which brings us to this point. How will Wurlitzer's point-of-purchase material succeed in increasing the take from your operation depends 100% on how well your route men understand its use. First, they must understand its purpose, its value, and its power. Second, they must understand the proper approach to the location owner so that he will agree to its use in his place of business. Third, they must be made to realize that merely delivering the material to the location does not mean it will be used. Fourth, it's up to every route man to see that it is used, not just at the start, but every day and every week. And on every call, he should check up, take inventory, take a stroll through the location, and take action if the material is not in use. Again, we come back to the Coca-Cola Company, admittedly the nation's outstanding point-of-purchase advertiser. Here's what they say.
Wherever we have installed a vendor without benefit of point-of-purchase advertising and then added this advertising, the sale of our product has increased immediately and substantially.
If you, as a Wurlitzer factory-approved music merchant, or anyone in your organization, have any doubts as to the worth of point-of-purchase advertising in boosting your profits, listen to this. Again, a statement given Wurlitzer by the Coca-Cola Company. Hey, you at the desk, listen.
Tell your Wurlitzer music merchants this. Our experience with point-of-purchase advertising has been so profitable that if we had to eliminate any part of our advertising, magazines, billboards, radio, or point-of-purchase, the one type we would let go of last would be the one that has worked out best, our advertising at the point of purchase.
Grasp this opportunity to make your standing as a Wurlitzer factory-approved music merchant even more valuable to you and your organization. Use this promotional program as a tool to get more and better locations. Watch it increase your take in existing locations, and remember this. With your operating overhead fixed, a small increase in gross profit can mean a very substantial increase in net profit. For example, if an operator's average gross take was $10 a location with an average net profit of $2 per location, and he increased his gross profit an extra $2, his gross profit would have jumped only 20%, but his net profit would jump 100%. Use this point-of-purchase material as a weapon to double and redouble the extra profits produced by the introduction of 3 for a quarter, 1 for a dime play. Promote Wurlitzer music as musical fun for everyone in every location, and promote extra income for yourself. Order your point-of-purchase advertising now. Get it in action. See it quickly pay for itself. Watch it produce more and more profits for you.